Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Mariana and you should subscribe. The other day I had a conversation with a friend. She's a yoga teacher and she's trying to help people to reconnect and to get to the best version of themselves. So I think you should hear her out. I feel like people right now are spending a lot of time in their homes and they have a lot of time to introspect and to just start questioning and doubting everything they ever had, they ever thought they were sure. So they don't know who they are anymore.
What I'm sensing right now is that a lot of people are spending a lot of time to identify themselves with their mind. That means like categories of who they think they should be, the life path they thought for themselves and this type of things. And I used to be like that too. I used to think so much, who am I? Like what type am I? Should I go this direction or this direction?
We have our structure of whatever external forces are in our lives, whether it is a job, whether it is like a school. And when you are in a community and you actually see what you're doing and interact with other people, then you are more sure than when you're home and doing the exactly same things. So you just start questioning everything. And the more you try to realize like, okay, so I'm studying this degree, I'm doing this bachelor, but then you have a lot of time and you'll be like, okay, but I'm just alone, but why am I doing this? And you start like just starting these small things. And the more you try to realize using your brain who you are, the less you can actually do it, because you just overthink everything and there's no realization when you're just stuck inside your mind.
Yeah, so it's like a society that is a lot based on being in the head, when really you lose touch with yourself the more you think. What I discovered is I used to study a lot of psychology and philosophy and this to find, okay, I'm that type. But then I discovered that there is a place in me where I don't have to think about any of this, that I'm just myself. It's like a deep sense of who you are. And I think the world is craving that right now, and you can see when everybody's thinking so much. We get depressed, we get stressed, we lose touch with what is important in life.
Yeah, like I also love those things like the whole psychology or like fitting myself inside the personality type, learning how to deal with other people. Then in the end, those are also just boxes that you are trying to put yourself into, and then you forget to actually live and to be your authentic self. What would you tell people for them to connect to themselves?
Like, I know everyone has an individual journey, and I think that's also something super important, is that there is not one size fits all. So to me, my answer was to connect with my body and starting to listen to those signals.
That's so hard to tell people,
so
like,
hard.
just listen to your body.
Yeah,
and they're like,
so
yeah,
hard.
my body just tells me to eat chocolate and to sleep all day because they just don't have enough motivation to be able to
that is also
do fun things. Yeah.
That is also a sign sometimes, but I think for me the first step is because many of us have shut our bodies down because, okay, we have to work 8 hours even though we're tired. I have to take that education even though it doesn't bring me happiness. So the more time we ignore the signals from the body, the more it will shut down and it will just be a very small whisper, smaller, smaller, smaller.
It's a long journey, but what I think is like the more spiritual you are, the more connected you are with your body. And obviously like spirituality is such a big concept that we're so much inside our heads that we just forget everything. We're just like focusing on our day-to-day, on how to be happy, like changing our emotions. People that are very close and just so much inside this routine that they don't even know how to take the first step. How would you tell them, like, what's the first step you should do?
The first steps for me was to take a break, to take a step out of that busyness and start listening. Actually, I started to try to hear more when I had to go to toilet, for example. You know, okay, try to make that a priority, because many of us are used to overhearing every signals. Or I feel like eating this, then do it, or I want to relax. And in the beginning it's super hard, like, because we're not used to listening to any of our own signals. But then slowly, step by step, your body starts to trust you again in a way, because it learns, oh, she's listening to me now. Okay, I can trust her a bit more. Oh, actually I would like to go in this path in my life. Oh, actually I would like to. And then slowly, step by step, you can start to create a life from who you are inside and not just from your mind.
Okay, so first you'd say like the first thing we should address like the physical needs of the body, but I feel like it's so much more deep. So when you tell people, okay, you should be yourself, they're like, yeah, sure, like that's great, that's such a great advice, also very obvious in a sense, but then they are afraid to stand out and to be authentic because they keep comparing themselves to other people and they want to be doing the same because they need validation, and validation is such a big thing. So how can you just tell someone to be authentic in a world where they are so concerned about other people's judgment?
We're all just trying to fit in so bad. It's human nature, so it's really, really hard to do something different. What I did was, first I created a space between me and myself to act out. I started to dance a lot with myself, crazy dance, naked dance, like I connected with my, like how is my sexuality between me and myself without showing it to others. Then slowly you can start to find maybe a community, maybe it's a space of free dancing, free movement, where you can start to act out a bit of that space where you express yourself.
Did you find yourself a community?
I did it a lot on myself, but I started to create that community myself. That's what I do for work, is that I want to support that. That you start to understand that your unique expression, it can be your how you express your sexuality, your anger, everything. You have a safe space for that to come out, because it's a practice. So the more you practice, okay, here is a safe space where I can show a bit. Then next time maybe I go to another place and I try a bit to show. And step by step you build this confidence to be just you know.
Even like the simple fact of being naked is such a taboo. And I think like the more south you go, the more taboo it gets. Because I find like really amazing how in Germany, even like in Denmark, they're just so comfortable in their own bodies. And it's like, it's a normal thing. And like, I think this is the first thing, like, okay, so physical needs, connecting to your body, and then they're saying that everyone has a body and that you should not be hiding as well.
Yeah.
So just like be comfortable in your own skin to then just go in the world and be more real.
And I really think people need to understand that the mind and body is very, very connected. So each thought you have, it goes straight to your body and vice versa. So when you start to understand this way that it works, you can also really create some positive experience for your body, and you will experience a relief in your mind of your perception of yourself. So these silly naked dances that you do alone or something, it's actually something that really makes a huge difference in your life.
A lot of the mental issues that arise come from the fact that you think there are two different systems, when in reality everything is connected.
Yeah.
Maybe for now, for the current situation, it's also related, like about the concept of ego, right? Obviously, it's like the thing. I think this is most important now, because that's like something you can do in the long term and some kind of reasoning that you can have in order to transform yourself. But then when it comes to right now, and what people are struggling with is the fact that you just attach yourself to this ego of this thing that you thought was you, and that you needed to be like this perfect student, this perfect friend, perfect daughter, like going to school, doing sports, this whole thing. And now people are just deprived of all these just external labels even. So they just start questioning everything and like what really matters. So I think right now it's like to understand that you're not your ego, and to understand that you are wherever you are, and to be able to deal with the situation, to just do the best we can.
Defining ego, maybe it can be the boxes that you think of yourself in, you know? So it's to get out of that. I think the first step is to take a step away and really create a space where you're just with yourself, which is terrifying. When you've done something that you're part of the society and the group, and it's like socially acceptable the way you live and everything, and then suddenly you say stop for nothing, you know, you just stop and you're just with yourself. And a lot of us have been used to just being occupied by friends, phones, all the time, noise, so we avoid this space with ourselves.
And even think like it's wrong to be alone. Like a lot of people are like, so being alone is a failure. Like because society is made for, it's like we are social beings, so we should be like interacting with people. And so the more you're alone, the more you're like stepping away from these acceptable society standards. And it's like only when you're alone you can actually connect with yourself and understand how you work, because as you say, you just like shut down all these thoughts that you had, and then you are free of distractions. So then you can actually just realize a lot of things about yourself, about life. But you should also do it from a non-judgmental perspective, which I think that's the hardest part. It's like you're just overthinking and your brain just goes crazy thinking about the realms of existence and of yourself, but then you judge things and you're like, I should not be thinking about this, and then you just forget to be in the present, to be yourself, because you're just living inside your head again.
I think that's so essential to be a happy and grounded person, especially now where everything is so chaotic. I think it's so important to find that quiet place or happy place in yourself instead of grasping and holding on to things that are not stable right now.
Let's just like try to sum up everything that we said. So first we say it's really important to learn how to be alone and to be your most authentic self without judgment. And then the steps to get there.
Find some person or a group that you resonate with who are where you want to be grounded in yourself, or maybe they've done something that they really like to do and they look happy, and get some advice. Maybe you need to hire a person who can help you through the process, or find some safe person so you don't stand all alone. And then connect to your body. Start going to the toilet when you have to pee. Don't say, oh, I hold 5 minutes, or try to relax when you need to relax, and sometimes that's 2 weeks, sometimes it's Netflix binging. It's not something highly spiritual, it's just to understand that your body needs to trust you again. And then start having fun with yourself. I think that's important. And find a community where you can start to expand that zone of being yourself.
Cool. So what would be like your last message? What's like the thing you want to put out there?
Oh, I really, really want to say that I hope people find the bravery to do this, like to find themselves and really start living, because there is so much more to life than how we are living right now. And there's so much more potential for happiness, grow and experiment. Like, we don't have to live in this hamster wheel.
Yeah, everything will go away eventually.
Yeah, it's worth it, really, it's worth it. Yeah.
I think it's good. Bye.
Ciao.